Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of BVPCG PC Gaming, where this week it's X-Plane 11. Now I know what you're thinking. Breerton, did you cover this sim already? Yes, I did cover this sim in fact. And but this time I wanted to revisit X-Plane 11 because I wanted to see how much has improved since the last time I played this sim. And from looking at the patch notes, the last patch that was released for X-Plane 11 was 11.11. So that way I decided then it would be a good time to come back to X-Plane 11 and just see how much has changed from the last time I covered X-Plane 11 for BVPCG PC Gaming. So for this, we're at Weston Airport, a little tiny airfield not too far from Dublin, just a few miles from the city, but much more further away from Dublin Airport. So then, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into the cockpit. Once again, back in the Baron 58, just like back in the last video. So we're going to go ahead and... Oh, well, the game did freeze me there for a minute. So we're going to go ahead and power up the aircraft. We have the heat on and windshield is on. We don't need the de-icing switches on because it's not cold enough for it. Panel, landing lights, and mixture switch all the way. There we go. Starting engine 1 and starting engine 2. Okay, there we go. Both engines are running, so we'll go ahead and release the parking brake, and we'll go ahead and taxi to a runway of our choice. But yeah, looking at the sim from last time, performance wise, it is definitely stepped up big time. Either that or it's the new graphic settings that I've used for this sim, both in-game and on NVIDIA, where I gave the settings its individual settings rather than the standard global settings. Okay, we're a little bit off. We missed our taxi right there, so let's do a 180 and just turn back towards that taxiway we missed. There we go. There we are, a little quick 180, and then we're back here again. So yeah, in the cockpit at the moment, it's running at about 50 frames per second. But if we go to the outside view, it's running much more higher than that. It's running between, well, it's at 50 frames. But now it's gone up to 60. It will run often between 60 to 80 FPS. Sometimes it would dip down to 50. But when you're in the cockpit view, especially in this one, sometimes FPS varies. In this case, it's running at 50 frames per second. Probably because I'm in a less dense area. But other than that, though, FPS is quite stellar. 60 frames per second max it runs at when you're in a freeware aircraft like this one. Okay, I've accidentally selected the prop switches there by accident. So anyway, let's go ahead and take off. So once we get into the air, we'll fly left, head down to the Wicklow Mountains. And 80 knots. And pull back. There we go, we're in the air nicely. A little bit of adjustment on the trim, and we can bring the gear up. So yeah, they've improved the sounds on the on the Baron 58. I'm not sure if they've improved it for the rest of the aircraft, but for what I know, they've improved it for the general aviation aircraft, which is a plus point. But yeah, look at the scenery. I've forgotten how good the scenery was the last time I played X-Plane 11. It is stellar, absolutely stellar. Amazing scenery this is. This is all without, this is not even without, no add-ons are installed or anything like that. Well, no scenery add-ons are installed, but yet X-Plane 11 still shines from the scenery. I'm running at high settings, which is not maximum settings, but high settings, and yet the scenery here is amazing, just amazing. I suppose now we can turn off the P-Tot switches. We probably don't need them. So we're just maintaining a low altitude of 1,600 feet. Just a low enough altitude so that way we can see the scenery down below us. So slow down to about this speed here, about somewhere 150 knots. But let's go to the outside view. Look at that. Look at that scenery. Just amazing. Ah, the M50 motorway down below us there. But yeah, I can already see a few improvements from the last time I played X-Plane 11. Lots of good improvements. The engine noise on the Baron 58 is one of them. Even how the aircraft flies, it's quite nice. And they've even fixed the problems with the shadows as well, being very cartoony. So that's a good plus point. Now back into the cockpit view we go. Adjust my height position. Even the panning controls in the cockpit here are very smooth. I can just move left, right, up and down like that. It's more smoother than what FSX provides. So yeah, from what I can see, X-Plane does a more better job than Flight Simulator in terms of scenery, flight physics, and overall graphics and FPS as well, which is a very good plus point. And there's Dublin down there. Flying over. Actually, we're flying over Dunleary, I think. Judging by those two piers there, I say we're coming into Dunleary. Excuse me. Sorry, I had something. Bit of phlegm caught in my throat. Wow. Already I'm blown away. I have no words for this for this flight sim. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable is the word I have to describe. I've never seen a flight sim this good in my entire life. For flight physics and everything. I mean, the aircraft, especially the general aviation aircraft, are more relaxing to fly than the general aviation aircraft in the FSX. And it's more realistic as well, in my opinion. Even the FPS is running a lot more smooth. Let's go back out. Let's go back to the outside view. Okay, it's running at about 40 FPS here. That's probably because I'm over a populated area, so probably explain why the FPS is running between 40 frames per second. There's a Houston station down there. Well, one of the railroad tracks that leads. Well, one of the rail lines that goes to Houston. Oh, there's Houston just there. Houston station. Now, let's get back into the cockpit view here. And we'll land back at Weston Airport. So now it looks like the game has gone back up to 50 frames per second because I'm out of a least popular area, but so far though the graphics aren't having a much of an impact on performance as much as FSX would have had back when we're in a popular area. Okay, we're a little low, so let's bring the airplane back up a bit. But you know, it's good to see that there's a competition in the flight simming markets as well as many other types of markets, because it's what gives the consumers more options, more choice, pretty much as to what flight sims they would like. For example, though, in terms of add-ons, as well as as well as better sounding aircraft for the default 737, as well as the other airliners, as well as the default airliners, I would say FSX takes the win on that one. So here we're going to set the flaps down. Even the flap noises is more or less improved. Landing gear is down. Here we go. Now it's gone back up to 60. It's gone back up to 60 FPS. Well, it's run between 56 and 60 FPS, which is close enough. But I imagine when we land here back at Weston, the FPS will be running more or less smoother. Add a little bit of power. Add power. Okay, not a bad landing. I didn't know if that was a rough landing or not, but it felt bit smooth. It felt smooth anyway. I could be wrong though. Now here we are, landed back in Weston, and now the frames has gone back up to 60 FPS, which is pretty nice. So let's bring this aircraft back to where we had it first parked at. yeah, even the physics just feel more real on X-Plane than on Flight Simulator. But yeah, I think I prefer X-Plane 11 just for more VFR flying rather than IFR flying. I mean, I did had to go at IFR flying on X-Plane 11, but I think maybe flying IFR on FSX is more better at the moment for me anyway. I mean, if you like flying IFR on X-Plane 11, well then more power to you, man. Now here we are. We've parked back here. Turn off the mixture and then turn down the prop. And then turn off the battery and the alternator switches, as well as all the light switches here. Landing lights are off and everything like that. So yeah, that was a nice relaxing flight down to Dublin and all the way back up to Weston. So now I'm going to go grab the Zibo 737 and I'm going to demonstrate that, compare it to the default 737. Okay everyone, welcome to the Zibo 737, which is a freeware aircraft that you can get at xplane.org. Not xplane.org, but one of the download websites. But I'll leave a link in the description as to where you can get the Zibo 737. So that way you will know where you can get. So that way, anytime you guys are interested in trying this aircraft out yourself, you're more than welcome to. So as you see, the FPS is a little bit. So the aircraft is a little bit more tougher on the FPS, but overall, though, it's not having too much of a big performance on the FPS as well. Now, I complained about the last time I was flying the default 737. I complained about the flap lever being not being very realistic. Instead, it's just pulling the flap lever up and down normally. But in this case, on the default 737 as well, the X-Plane team have improved the flap lever as well on the default 737, as you can see in this video clip. It's also been the same here as well. So basically, I can lift up the flap lever and just slide into place like that, like so. So yeah, definitely a lot more realistic on that part. But in the meantime, though, we'll set the flap levers down to 5. But back to what I was saying about the flaps. Although when I'm setting it manually, it's still, even with last time when I tested this, when I had the mixture lever assigned to the flap lever, it's still pumping the thing up and down, which I find it a bit annoying. So in this case, I just stuck with a flap button normally, where I can adjust the flaps just by adjusting the flaps one flap at a time, if you know what I mean, or one flap degree setting at a time, if you know what I mean. So in the meantime, we'll set the squawk code to 2200, like so. 2200 and TARA. And then we'll climb to 3,000 feet, and then we'll maintain that altitude, and we'll even maintain 250 knots. Actually, we'll maintain 230 knots. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. 230 knots. There we go. Actually, we'll maintain just 2,500 feet at 230 knots. So, in the meantime, though, let's get this puppy into the air. So, let's take a look at the engine noise. We go outside the aircraft. Engine noise on the Zibo 737 is definitely more better on the Zibo 737 than on the default 737. But in the meantime, I will compare, after I take this plane off, I'm going to compare that engine noise to the default 737 and see which one is better. So then, in the meantime, we're going to go release the parking brake, and we'll get this plane into the air. Oh yeah, definitely more realistic in terms of engine noise. Now back to the cockpit view. Now positive rate, V1, rotate. Gear up. And flaps up.
400.
And then we will assign the
1,000.
assign speed to 230 knots.
Bank angle, bank angle, bank angle.
So once again we will fly south,
bank angle,
just to demonstrate the.
bank angle, bank angle.
All right,
Bank angle,
bit too much on the bank angle there.
bank angle, 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 bank angle.
Shut up. Thank you. Well, that's one way how to get the alarm.
Bank
Shut up.
Bank angle.
Shut up.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Shut up.
Bank angle.
Thank you. Well, that's one way how to get. So that's a new way on how to get the aircraft to
2500.
get the aircraft to shut off the siren alarms. Is just tell it to shut up. Works wonders. So let's go for a little trip along the Wicklow Mountains. In this case, we'll climb higher, up to about 4,000 feet. Again, why does the aircraft keep randomly turning left on me there? Well, I meant the head of the aircraft. Well, I meant my pilot's head, my view camera just keeps randomly turning to the right on me, which I find a bit annoying, but ah well. But yeah, this aircraft is just amazing to fly. It's nearly the same level as of PMDG aircraft. Although not quite as realistic as the PMDG aircraft, but still though. Still the same quality that you get from PMDG. But I would personally love to see companies like PMDG or Aerosoft or Quality Wings take interest in X-Plane. You know, I would love to see, say, the PMDG 737 and the 777 and the 747 on X-Plane 11. So that way, even the people that fly X-Plane or the people that use X-Plane can have great access to fantastic add-ons like the PMDG 737. Now let's go to the outside of the aircraft so we can see what flying over the mountains is like. Oh, and once again, the scenery is amazing. We'll just go for a little flight along the Wicklow Mountains. As the autopilot has maintained the speed for me. But I suppose, though, I could get the autopilot to... Well, actually, no, there's no need for me to maintain... There's no need to get the autopilot on 4,000 feet since it's... Since the aircraft is doing a very good job maintaining a stable altitude of 4,000 feet. Wow, this is just unreal if you ask me.
25.
Completely unreal. But that's good because this sim has gone beyond what I was expecting out of a flight simulator. So now that the Zebo 737 is flying in the air, I'm going to go ahead and compare the sounds of that to the default 737. And I'm going to let you guys be the judge as to which airplane sounds better. Okay, we're a little lower than 4,000 feet, so let's bring the altitude up slightly. There we go. Looking good, looking good. Alright, now I think it's a good time to descend down to 2,500 feet. Set. We will go ahead and set the speed brake. And we'll set flat for 1. .230, descend down to 180 knots. Now, speed brake is armed.
2,500.
Whoa, bit of a freeze there. Whoa, for a moment there I thought X-Plane crashed at me. But no, it hasn't, just a bit of a freeze there. So here we go, speed brake is armed. And flaps 2.
2,500.
Flaps 5. And flaps 10. Let's go ahead and set the auto brake to 1. Actually, I will set the auto. I'm gonna bring the airplane to a stop myself. Flaps 15. And flaps
2,500.
25, and landing gear is down. $35.
2,500.
135 landing gear. Oh, I thought I put the landing gear down that time. Oh well. 135 knots. Landing gear is down. Speed brake is armed. Confirmed. Altitude is set. In the event of a go-around procedure, we will climb to 2,500 feet. There we go. We got one light. Let's see if we can get two. Oh, yeah, there we are. There's the two lights. So let's see if we can. Oh yeah, we're on the money. We are on the money.
One thousand.
1,000
feet stabilized, Mr. Burchell, as you said.
1,000 feet. So I'll let the computer do all the call outs.
Five hundred.
500. Oh wait, I said I let the computer do the call outs.
400.
Oh god, I'm all over the place today, lads.
Three hundred. Two hundred. One hundred. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh ho ho ho! Very smooth landing there. My smoothest landing on not FSX, X-plane. That's my smoothest landing on X-plane. Tell you what, not bad for a Ryanair landing, am I right, lads? That's probably the smoothest landing Ryanair has ever pulled off yet. Tell you what, that's not bad for a Ryanair landing, am I right, lads? Hit the brakes, hit the brakes, brakes. But unfortunately, us running off the runway ruined it. Oh well. I know what's wrong. Hold on. Menu. Advanced. Fuel and CG. No. Back. Other config. Realism. No. Nope. Hardware. Oh, why does it keep doing that? Nose wheel steering, yeah. Why does the steering keep resetting on me there? All right, set flaps up to bring the flaps up. And there we are. We're off the runway at Dublin Airport. So we'll bring the aircraft to a stop here, just like in the same place we stopped on the last video we made. So bring the aircraft to a stop here. There we go. So that is X-Plane 11. In terms of VFR flying, and in terms of flight physics, FPS, graphics, and performance, X-Plane 11 wins. But in terms of add-ons and better IFR flying, FSX wins. But in general though, X-Plane 11 has stepped up to compare to what I've played it as last time, and I might consider doing a IFR flight with the Zeebo 737 just to see what IFR flying will be like again on X-Plane 11. I mean, I did an IFR flight before with the Zeebo 737, but it was without, but I didn't have it installed properly. I didn't have the sound pack installed. But next time though, I might consider doing a IFR flight on X-Plane 11. But for now, I'm happy enough doing VFR flights on X-Plane 11 because it has the scenery and the flight physics on the general aviation aircraft to make it a more relaxing VFR experience. So I thank you for watching, and until my next video, guys, I will see you then.